Hey, what's happening everyone? SirJames from Gamerfuzion.com, and we are now exactly 30 days away from the launch of PlayStation VR, so I figured in celebration of that, why not to go ahead and go over my top 5 most anticipated launch titles for the PlayStation VR. Now do keep in mind that there are numerous amounts of titles that currently have unknown release dates, some of which are confusing or don't know if it will be exactly that day or if it's going to be pushed back and so forth. So for example, games like Robinson the Journey is one of those unknown titles, even though on the Wikipedia page it says October 13th, but we're going to have to wait and see and find out. But anyways, like I said, this is just my top 5 games I'm really looking forward to as a launch titles. Now do keep in mind that games like Resident Evil, for example, can't count because it's coming out next year in January, so therefore it is not a launch title. So let's go ahead and begin the countdown, starting with number 5. Now going at number 5 is the Batman Arkham VR. Now this is going to be one of those relatively short experience titles, going anywhere between an hour and a half to 2.5 hours in length, but pretty much it puts you into the mindset. In this case, you are going to be the Batman. And of course, Batman happens to be one of my favorite DC superheroes. Now, regardless of not being able to see much of gameplay of anything besides some snippets here and there from trailers or for people who got the chance to talk about it, but overall, it's going to be a relatively fun, even though it's going to be a short experience, but I'm really looking forward to kind of see what they do. And who knows, maybe we might get a more fledged out full-length title, but at least we get to do some detective work, mess around with the gadgets, put the cowl on. So overall, I think that's going to be a relatively fun experience. So let's go ahead and go down to number 4. Alright, now going at the number 4 slot is the Until Dawn Rush of Blood. Now this is basically a side game from the main series where of course we have more of a VR experience. In this case, we are going to be on a horror roller coaster ride, being able to use the move controllers to shoot at different targets. But for me, when it comes to horror games, I haven't really found the horror game to scare the living crap out of me. Like when I was young, my cousin would make me play the Resident Evil games, so therefore I would get nightmares from that. But since then, I haven't really found the game that's going to like make me wake up at night from some sort of nightmare. But based on everyone's reactions, you got the chance to check out the Rush of Blood. Overall, it looks relatively well. Now, of course, this is going to be another one of those relatively inexpensive titles, going anywhere between about $15 to $30. But hopefully it'll be the game, and of course I will be filming my reactions, so hopefully we get a good scare. I've been avoiding any type of horror films for the past several months to build up the suspense, and hopefully something will happen. Who knows, I may cry in the videos, but we'll just have to wait and see. But once again, number 4 is the Until Dawn Rush of Blood, so let's go ahead and get down to number 3. Now going at the number 3 spot is a game known as Farpoint. Now, right now, the release date for this is kind of questionable because on the Wikipedia page it says it as a launch title, and so far other sources are not stating any type of delays or anything like that, so that is why it's currently on this list. But Farpoint looks like an interesting title. Now this is a first-person shooters where apparently the game will come bundled with a new version of the PlayStation Sharpshooter. It's not as cool as the one that was released for the PlayStation 3. It's kind of has like a little cheap design to it, but then again, if you think about it, once you have the VR headset on, pretty much whatever it is that's in your hand, it could be the ugliest looking thing, but once you're in the VR world, it's going to be the badass looking rifle that you're going to experience. But the game looks relatively fun with the first person shooter experience. I know with the new Sharpshooter, you have an analog stick behind you, so that way you're able to do the movements and so forth. Being able to crouch down, picking up weapons is relatively easy. You basically place it there and you pick up the new gun and so forth, aiming down the sights. But it's going to be an interesting first-person shooters, and I'm really interested to see where the first-person shooter aspect in regards to PlayStation VR tends to go, because who knows, we could have a competitive shooter maybe sometime in 2017, maybe 2018, but we'll have to wait and see. So let's go ahead and skip on down to my number 2. Alright, now going at my number 2 spot is a game known as Rig's Mechanized Combat League, and pretty much the definition of this game is what sports would be like for us in the near future, where we have a team of 3 and these mechanized robots getting kills and so forth, and scoring points. And overall, I'm really hoping that this game turns out really well. I mean, based on all the videos I've seen, first impressions and so forth, even though I have not gotten the chance to try it out myself, looks like a really fun title. And especially if you happen to have a group of friends who also have VR headsets, forming a team and stuff like that, we may have a competitive team on the VR side of things. I mean, who knows, it could turn into a competitive sport. Maybe not, I don't know, maybe I'm just going a little bit too far with this, but overall it looks really fun. I do like mech style games, so this one looks relatively fun with scoring goals, playing defense. Most likely in this case I'll be playing a lot of defense, and hopefully things turn out well, but I can't wait to see how the online community turns out for that title. And last but not least, as my #1 most anticipated launch title is a game known as BattleZone VR. Now, BattleZone is one of those classic games that I played during my childhood, and to see it brought forward and with updated visuals and a Tron-looking universe is just a lot of fun. I mean, this is probably the demo that I played the most during the VR experiences every time I attend one of these events, and it's just really fun and addictive. I mean, I really enjoy my tank gameplay aspect, being able to switch guns on the fly, and every time you look either direction you can see your turn or you see your machine guns looking up to take care of the drones that are flying above you, and all these different elements. It's just really fun. And another nice thing about this is that apparently not one or two of your gameplay experiences will be identical. So in this case, if you happen to play through the campaign the first time around, your experience is going to be completely different the second time around, and I like it when games do that because it builds up a lot of replay value. But again, BattleZone is my #1, but what do you guys think about my list? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like I said, there's currently a lot of unknown titles. If you guys want to list your 5 most anticipated VR launch titles, or just VR games in general, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. But like I said, definitely tune in on October 13th where I'll be unboxing the launch bundle, and of course that is where I'm going to be starting my PlayStation VR launch coverage. I'll have the camera enabled so that way you guys can see how the body movements and so forth. So in this case, I'll be enabled somewhere in the bottom section on screen. But of course, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys next time.